It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. Joining me once again to take you through this race is the effervescent Anthony Davidson, and I'm very much looking forward to it getting underway. You raced here, of course, didn't you, back in your Super Aguri days in that infamous Chinese Grand Prix of 2007?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't last that long, though, unfortunately. Qualifying had gone pretty well, but my brakes failed quite early in the race, around lap 10 or 11, something like that. And of course, back in 2004, I was the very first Formula 1 driver to complete a lap of this circuit. Just thought I'd mention that for you, Crofty. You like a good stat. It's a fairly tough circuit on the brakes here, though. You know, there's that long back straight down into turn 14, and then you've got turn 6 and 11. They're quite heavy as well. On top of that, managing your front tyre wear is always a challenge around here, so there's a lot to keep in mind during the Grand Prix.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Bottas, Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, and Gasly, Perez, Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, and Kevin Magnussen. Grosjean, Sainz, Lando Norris, Lee, Stroll, Raikkonen, Lucas Faber, and Devon Butler. Russell and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So then Albon picks up a grid penalty, but here as well down the field as it was anyway, we remain in 14th place. So mediums on to hards. I'm going to edit that and we're going to go hards onto mediums. 16 and 12 should be good enough. It's saying 15 and 13, but what we'll do is 16 and 12, and that's the strategy we'll go for. I think China's quite heavy on the old fuel as well with the couple of long straights we've got here, so I'll start with 2 laps worth of fuel. I won't be running rich mix too much around here, obviously going for the one-stop strategy. We could go 2-stop, starting in the softs, mediums and hards. We'll just have a quick look to see what it's like if we go... We can't go medium, can we? Well, we can, but I think it's if we go soft, medium to lap 5 and lap 8. What does that do for us? It's a lot slower. So this is the one that we'll use. This is the selected strategy. We're going to start on the hard tyres then, so we're going to be, I think, relatively slow at the start. There'll be people on either the softs or the mediums. I don't think anyone will start on the hard tyres, but it's a gamble because it could mean that if we do manage to keep it clean and get to, you know, as far into the race on the hard tyres as possible, we could bolt on a set of mediums and then push towards the end as well, which could be quite interesting. So that's the tyres we're going to start on then. So we'll start the race and we'll do the old formation lap. Starting in 14th place, I've got the 2 McLarens ahead of me. And behind me we've got Stroll and Raikkonen as well.
Clutch point is good, gearbox is responding normally. Make sure to warm up the tyres and brakes. Warm the tyres and brakes throughout the lap.
Warm the tyres and brakes throughout the lap. Yes, I know what I'm doing. You don't need to tell me all the time. Classic Kimi Raikkonen quote there from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in 2012, for all of you that didn't know. So starting in 14th place, we're on the hard tyres. I don't know how many other people are on the hard tyres. I've probably guessed none of them are. And I can absolutely tell you that it's starting inside the top 10. We'll definitely have to 2-stop. So it's going to be crucial for us to keep it clean. We need to keep it clean and consistent on the first stint for sure. Trying to lose too many positions. We know how difficult it is to pass the AI on this game. But we've got to have a bit of caution in the first couple of laps because obviously, like I said before, we're starting in the sort of the, as I said in Australia, we're starting in the clusterfuck zone really, where contact sometimes is inevitable, and we really don't want to do that because it will completely ruin our race. We damage our front wing, we're probably going to have to carry it all the way until our pit stop, which is not going to be good for us. Because if we pit at the end of lap 1 or lap 2 because of accident damage, we're going to have to pretty much go on a 2-stop strategy, and we'll be at the back of the field and we'll be relying on safety cars really, which isn't all that common to get back into the field. So we've got to keep it clean. We've got to manage our fuel and manage our ERS as well as much as we can. It will be a track that offers good overtaking opportunities. Turn 1 not so much, but into turn 3 or 4, whatever it is, the right hand hairpin at the end of sector 1, that offers an opportunity to get past here as well. It's probably the best opportunity we'll have to get past people with a DRS as well. But we know again how aggressive the AI can be when defending. And running on these hard tyres, it's not going to give us the ultimate grip off the line or into or out of the corners as well. So we are at a disadvantage early on, but if we can keep it clean and maintain some sort of a decent track position, then the advantage will come to us slowly but surely as the race goes on. So coming into our grid spot now then, in P14, behind Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz. And this is the point now where the adrenaline starts to rise, the heartbeat starts to race as we await for every car to take up their grid spot. They have now, the 5 lights are coming on, and round 3 at China is go. Not the worst launch in the world on these hard tyres. Turn 1 and turn 2 is crucial though. So we've lost a couple of positions off the start already. Gained 1 back over Stroll. Oh, that was close. This is okay though. I'm happy with this first lap so far. So Stroll might try something down into the hairpin. Well, he's not gaining as much, so he should be okay. Out of the hairpin as well, losing a bit to the guys in front, and we've lost DRS. That's going to hurt us. As we one wide at the final corner to complete lap 1 then, so the DRS is now offline. You saw it flash up on the right hand side there, the rear wing went orange. So that is no DRS, and that will hurt us down the main straight. Hopefully the team can fix it. Fortunately the DRS wasn't open at the time, because on previous games if your DRS is open and you get a fault, it stays open and you're forced to pit to fix it. So we can carry on, but our top speed once we start lap 3 will be severely limited. That's lap 2 completed, and Vettel out front has absolutely rocketed away. DRS is now enabled, but as you can see there, we are already a second and a half behind Raikkonen, so the DRS failure that we currently have makes no difference. We weren't close enough anyway to try a move. You have to remember, so being on the hard tyres, we are going to be at a disadvantage, but the race will come to us as long as we keep going and keep it clean. So on to lap 3 then, I'm going to have to use rich mix and a higher mode of ERS just to try and keep the cars behind. And it's worked on that lap. So we're going to have to save fuel and ERS pretty much everywhere apart from the back straight, because that is the best opportunity for the cars behind to get past. And if we can manage to remain in 15th place, it will put us in a good stead going ahead. So So cars already diving off into the pits then at the end of lap 3. Up to 11th place, 10th, 9th. So this is when our strategy now starts to take place, because there's going to be a lot of people out there, I feel, on the 2-stop strategy. We've got decent pace on these hard tyres. We'll have a quick check on the tyres whilst we're at it. 16% on the left rear and we've completed 4 laps. So again, not bad. We are within DRS range, and apparently the DRS is now fixed. It is, look at that, we've now got DRS back as well. So that will help us down the back straight, of course. 2 DRS zones, back straight, and this one here as well. There's other cars pulling off into the pits, so we're going to be continually moving up the order here. On to 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th place. 5th place at the moment. The McLarens ahead of battling. That'll make them slow into turn 1 and turn 2. So Alfa Romeo at the moment is working ahead, running in 4th place. So Alfa Romeo 5th and 4th, McLaren 3rd and 2nd. It's a Renault, I believe, in the lead. Possibly a Haas. I can't tell. It might be a Haas, actually. But we're doing everything right at the moment to make this strategy work. Very comfortable on the tyres. Very quick on the pace. So Kimi pits. That frees us up.
You're into P4.
Up to P4 now. Stroll is behind me. Don't try it. Don't try it. Oh, contact there with the Canadian. Squeeze him out. Are battling over 2nd and 3rd place. So we're pretty much surrounded now by medium runners. So it'll be a few laps until they pit. And then we'll possibly take the lead by about lap 10 or 11.
Gap to teammate behind is 22.1 seconds.
And the target for us is to probably lap 15, I'd say. So as we come out of this corner, we might as well check the tyre wear. 26 on the left rear, which is the highest. So by lap 14, we'll be looking at about 52. So we can definitely get to lap 15 or 16 before these tyres really start to give up. And the longer we can go in this set, the better it will be for us on the mediums. And the better it will be towards the end of the race as well. But we're keeping pace here with the McLarens that are on the medium tyres. So we are in a good position. Into lap 10, Science has got past Norris, but they are still scrapping. I don't need these guys to hold me up. As it stands at the moment, we are, well, we're not the de facto leader, but the leaders that are on a 2-stop, we're ahead of all of them. Although I do feel that the Ferraris and the McLarens are only a few seconds back. But it's getting to the time now where these guys on the medium tyres will start thinking about pit stops. Oh, Sainz. Oh, we're off the circuit here. This is... Oh, no, 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 no. That's our first mistake. Not too sure what happened there, to be honest. Okay, lap 11 to 28, got Bottas right behind me. He's going to sail past me pretty comfortably.
Come on, you can win that place back.
It's been a time now where the medium runners start thinking about their pit stops. No one in the pits just yet though. So we keep pushing. So I have a long right hander. I'm going to get DRS from Bottas I feel, but Hamilton is behind me. So I think there's a possibility that Hamilton might try a move. No, he's not close enough. And these McLarens ahead are really struggling. And Hamilton back in the pits again then. So that frees up a bit of space behind me. Leclerc is a few seconds back. He'll probably be up with me by the end of this lap, but at least I can breathe easy now for a lap at least. And these guys ahead of Bottas, Stroll, and both the McLarens really struggling now for grit. They're going to make it free while going to turn 4. Bottas is on the grass. Just see how slow they are as we manage to get back past Bottas, I should say. Got to be careful here. Got a feeling this is going to get quite interesting now with the DRS. Here comes Bottas. We're up the inside of Norris. We've already got past Norris. And then Bottas just absolutely takes the pair of us as well. Oh, I've been tagged from the rear. Oh, at the inside there, but I think Stroll was pulling off into the pits anyway, as was Sainz.
We're approaching the pit window.
So up to P3 then. The only two people ahead of us is Bottas and Vettel, and obviously they've got another pit stop to make as well, so we're right with the leaders now. And this is the advantage of running the one-stop strategy here. It's half distance, lap 14 of 28. I don't want to say we're in a net third place, because obviously there's a few quicker drivers behind us. But this has been a good opening half of the race so far. We kept it nice and clean. And our tyres are still feeling pretty good as well. So the longer we can push these hard tyres, the better we'll be on the mediums. %47 left rear. That's pretty good, to be honest, at this stage of the race. Oh, maybe not. First signs of major oversteer and loss of grip there. And Leclerc is right behind me now. This should be the easiest move of his career. Fly past he does.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
So into lap 15 then, Norris pits behind. So we've got a lot of time to relax. Because I don't know who it is coming out into 5th place. It's Verstappen, but he's 7 seconds back. So he might catch us in the next couple of laps being on these tyres. But we can sort of relax a little bit, not having to worry about anyone behind us so far. And just focus on pushing these tyres as far as humanly possible. I'm thinking pitting at the end of lap 16 should make us comfortable on the mediums. 17 will make us very comfortable. I don't think we'll get past that, to be honest, because we're already starting to struggle in these hard tyres. But like I said a lap or two ago, it's been a very, very profitable first stint so far. So the team one is in at the end of this lap, which is per our race strategy. We said 16 laps on the hard tyres, 12 laps on the mediums. But I feel very comfortable with these tyres, to be honest with you. And our tyre wear is only 55%, so we're going to go for another lap here. And try and get a bit more of an advantage on those medium tyres. So Vettel and Bottas are in for their second stop, and we haven't even made our first yet. So we're up into the dizzying heights of P2 at the moment. Leclerc will probably be pitting at the end of this lap as well. So we're on our own at the moment, as you can see on track. I'm not too sure where we'll rejoin. There's quite a few cars on the two-stop strategy currently in the pits as well. I think we've got a really good opportunity here to emerge well inside the top 10. And then we'll be on a nice set of fresh medium tyres as well. So I think it was 7th place we were in Bahrain on the one-stop strategy from the back of the field. I think we've got an opportunity to go better than that here as well. And apart from that little mistake several laps ago, it's been pretty consistent and clean. And I think we'll be picking out at the end of this lap. Our lap times are now starting to drop off just a little bit. Having said that, I have just gone green in sector 2, so yeah, like I said, consistency is key, and quite clearly I'm doing that by setting a green sector in the middle of this lap. So Leclerc does pit. I was tempted to go for one more lap just to say I've led a race, but I don't want to push his tyres too far. Crucial we don't speed. Indeed we don't. So in we come then for our pit stop. I think we will join quite well up the order, to be honest with you. And then we've just got to keep it clean on the medium tyres, and I think good points are to be had here.
Kimi is in for his stop. Release, release.
Here we go, out we come. It's 4th place at the moment. It's going to be down to 5th and 6th at least. Here comes Sainz, though. He's going to get the jump on us. So Sainz then does stay ahead of us, but he's on the hard tyres. We're on the mediums. And look at that, we're in 7th place. We don't need to stop again, and we're in 7th place. And I'm pretty sure there's 1 or 2 cars ahead that might need to stop again. If not, it doesn't matter. We'll get a bit of a push on now. Try and catch him past Sainz. So we're on the back of Sainz here. Oh, the understeer. Saved a bit of EIS as well. This should be an easy move. Indeed it is. Up into P6 then.
Nice move.
We've got Grosjean ahead of us in 5th. Pretty sure he doesn't need to stop again. In fact, he won't if he's on the hard tyres. So we'll try and lock down this 6th place at the moment. Try and start to put away from Sainz being on those hard tyres. We now have the advantage being on the mediums. A very fresh set of mediums as well. We might be able to do something about Grosjean here on those hard tyres. Top 5 is possible. And that'll make us, well, not only the best of the rest, but we'd have beaten both the Red Bulls as well, because the top 4 is occupied by both the Ferraris and the Mercedes. And if we can secure a 5th place here, that would be a fantastic result in only our 3rd race. So we'll keep pushing. We know we can push these medium tyres now pretty much until the end of the race. Might be a slight bit of tyre wear issue in the last couple of laps, but for now we can get the hammer down. So into lap 20, we now have DRS off of Grosjean. I've got plenty of fuel to burn up as well that we can use down the straights. And I think it's a matter of when, not if, we can try and move on Grosjean here. Oh, look at the speed we're getting. This should be a simple pass. Indeed it was. P5. P5. So into lap 22 then, that's Grosjean behind, so we are consistently pulling away. Sainz, who passed a few laps ago, has now dropped behind one of the Red Bulls, which is closing the gap now on Grosjean, and the other Red Bull is catching Sainz as well.
They seem to have an issue.
Oh, and as we say that, one of the Red Bulls, Gasly, has an issue. Not too sure if that's the one in 7th place behind Grosjean or the one in 9th behind Sainz. So that makes my life a little easier because the Red Bulls further back there want a bit of a charge. And all we've got to do now is just be consistent on these medium tyres and eke out some sort of an advantage of Grosjean. Because I feel these medium tyres, the way I've been very aggressive with them these last few laps, getting past Sainz and Grosjean, I feel they might go off a bit sooner than I want. So if we manage to pull out a 3 or 4 second gap over Grosjean by about lap 26, I think we should be okay. So into lap 23 or 28, just 6 to go. That's the tyre wear situation at the moment, so we are comfortable to get to the end. We're now 2.8 seconds, 2.8 seconds ahead of Grosjean, and that gap is increasing. The Red Bull that was behind Grosjean is Gasly. He's the one with the issue. You can see there on the track map, he's now falling back behind Grosjean. Verstappen has got past Sainz as well, so that was good news to us. The leading Red Bull that was behind Grosjean is Gasly, and he does have an issue. So we're essentially now in a battle between ourselves and Grosjean to keep this 5th place, and so far it's looking good in our favour. The gap's now up to 2.9 seconds, and you can see there on the tyre where there the left front is taking more of a pounding in the left rear at the moment, but that will change over the course of this stint. So all we've got to do now really is just see these last 6 or 7 laps out, and we're on course for a 5th place finish, which is quite frankly unbelievable. Since lap 25, just 4 to go. The top 4 of the Ferraris and the Mercedes have checked out. We aren't catching them. The only way we would rule is if they make a mistake or the tyre. We're now nearly 5 seconds, 4.931 ahead of Grosjean. And he has a massive gap as well, about another 4 or 5 seconds back to what I assume will be Verstappen and Lance Stroll, fighting over 7th and 8th, and then 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th onwards, or everyone else. So tyres feel okay. I've been using rich mix down the 2 main straights as well, and then dropping the ERS down to number 1 and number 2 as well, just to try and save as much ERS as possible, just in case I need it in the final 2 laps. You never know. But they were consistently pulling away from Grosjean. The tyres feel fine, and as long as we don't completely make a balls up, we're on course here for a 5th place finish, which, like I said a little while ago, will be an absolutely fantastic result. But again, shows that if you've got good pace here and you can manage the one-stop strategy, you will always be on for a good result. There's yellow flags behind us. Someone's had an issue. Oh, and it's Grosjean that's out of the race. That promotes Verstappen into 6th, and everyone else behind to position up as well, which makes our life for what will be at the end of this lap 2 laps left to go. Verstappen 8.6 seconds back. Absolutely no chance to catch us, even if our tyres are now slowly starting to go off. So Grosjean retiring, then disappointment for him. He's the first and so far only retirement of this race, but it pretty much locks in our 5th place now. And all we've got to do now is just 2 laps left to go. We've got plenty of ERS, and Jeff has just come over radio to say that the tyres are now starting to go off a little bit. Plenty of fuel, plenty of ERS to see ourselves to the end, and we're up to 38%, 40% on the front left, but it's the rear tyres that I worry about more. And we've certainly got enough tyre life there to comfortably get us to the end of this race. And it's going to be a 5th place finish unless we throw it away. So coming up to the final corner now then, to complete the 27th lap and start the final lap of the race. We've got plenty of fuel on board, just over a lap's worth of spare. I've saved the ERS, we're up into the 80% range. But as you can see there, just waiting for Verstappen to cross the line. 6.6 seconds, so he's taken a 1.5 seconds out in the last 2 laps, but obviously he's way too far back now to challenge for anything. Running in 5th place out of a 19 there. Raikkonen, for whatever reason, is down towards the back of the field, which is disappointing. Not too sure what's happened to Gasly, but you can see there that on the track map going into turn 1 and turn 2, but he is, I think, outside of the points as well. So it's not been a good day for Gasly with his issues. It's been a fantastic day for us. We started, I think it was down in 14th place. We made the strategy work off of the hard tyres as well. We kept two those ahead of us in the midfield on the medium tyres. And possibly some of the guys ahead of us, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that, were on the softs. Obviously they might have been held up in traffic or pitted too late and their tyres went off. But again, like I said, the one-stop strategy at most circuits, not all, but most circuits, certainly China is king around here. And we went from 20th to 7th at Bahrain, making the one-stop strategy work. And here we're going to go from 14th to 5th as Vettel has won the race. We've got Mercedes in 2nd, it'll be Hamilton. Leclerc will be 3rd, Bottas 4th, and then we'll be best of the rest in 5th place. In only our 3rd race of the season as well. I can tell you now, it won't be like this for the rest of the season. There will be races where we'll struggle at. There'll be races where we'll have to do the two-stop strategy. There'll be races where we'll crash out or just have a really poor performance. But for now, at least, we'll enjoy these positives. 5th place at China. So there we go, Vettel has won from pole position on the grid. Hamilton in 2nd place, 12.5 seconds back, but did set the fastest laps to gain an extra World Championship point. Leclerc in 3rd, Bottas in 4th, and we record our best finish of our career and season so far with 5th place. 14th place on the grid, making the one-stop work to absolute perfection to pick up 10 World Championship points in 5th place, and driver of the day from Anthony Davidson. Verstappen in 6th, then Sergio Perez in the Force India, Hulkenberg in 8th for the Renault, Sainz and Norris 9th and 10th for McLaren, Magnussen in 11th place, Stroll, Webber in 13th, a strong one from 17th for him, Gasly with his engine issues all the way down in 14th place, then Devon Butler, Ricciardo on the two-stop strategy didn't work for him, Albon, Raikkonen in 18th and George Russell in 19th place. Grosjean the only retirement of the race. We'll have a look at the standings then after 3 races. Vettel now retakes the championship lead ahead of Bottas, just 1 point between them. A long way back already is Leclerc, Gasly in 4th, Verstappen in 5th and Hamilton all the way down in 6th place. 7th and 8th is Perez and ourselves. We move up very nicely. Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Stroll, Norris, Sainz and Webber complete those that have scored points. 5 drivers still yet to get off the mark. In the constructors, Ferrari lead 24 points ahead of Mercedes. Red Bull very safe in 3rd place. Force India in 4th on 21. Renault in 5th on 17. We move up ahead of the Haas team into 6th place on 16 points. Haas in 7th on 8. McLaren on 5. Williams on 2. And Toro Rosso yet to score. So then the rivalry breakdown with Raikkonen and George Russell was to be very positive to us. We're now drawing with Raikkonen and we're comfortably ahead of George Russell as well. Hopefully we can improve that in the next few races as well and pick up some nice respect points. As for the resource points then, disciplinary record and clean lap, race position, maximum. Look at that, a very, very strong race from us. 275 takes up to 1764 in the overall resource points, and our reputation shot up nicely with all of the teams there. A very, very strong weekend overall for us. And the respect level there, another little stab towards the veteran status, but it will take a while to get all the way to the top. And a couple of questions there in the interview helped me gain a bit more towards the sportsmanship side, which is what Alfa Romeo prefer. And the higher we are up the sportsmanship side, then the more respect we have with the team, which would of course help us with our contract reviews.
We can have any complaints with our performance.
No, I certainly can't have any complaints either. That was an almost perfect race. We made one mistake early on in the race, which cost us a little bit of time, but in the grandest scheme of things, I don't think it really made too much of a difference. We was always nailed on for a good result, and exactly that's what we've taken. So we've got a couple of classic car events. We've got a time attack with the Ferrari 312 T4 at Japan, and we've got an overtake challenge with a 1976 McLaren M23D, which Raikkonen is attending. We can do that, and if we manage to complete it and beat Raikkonen, our respect goes up as well. But I'll leave it for now. It's something I'll pursue later on, probably in this first season as well, and do it off camera as well. So we've got some messages then. Debrief from Carl. Alex, first of all, you've met your race target, so good work on that front. There were a couple of slip-ups on the pit wall that almost cost us, but luckily we managed to get through it. I'll make sure we revise our procedures before the next race. Invitational event there from Emma, which you don't need to read. Seen this is an interview transcript So this is from our old teammate Lucas Weber. Some excellent overtaking moves from your former teammate today. Did they learn some of those from you? Haha, I like to think they did. You got to remember that me and my former teammate practiced together a ton, so we learnt a lot from each other as we progressed through our careers. I'm really happy with how they've been performing out there today. Devon Butler did much better in today's race than they did in qualifying. Were you expecting that? I was more surprised by the performance in qualifying. If I'm honest, they're a super talented driver. To see them not hit those high lap times sure was a surprise. They did, however, manage to gain positions pretty easily in today's race, so I suspect they're happy about that. And then there's another question there about everything else as well to do with his own career. And there's something here as well from Devon Butler. Alex did much better in today's race than they did in qualifying. Were you expecting that? All I will say is that I'm certainly happy about it. Me and my former rival had some intense moments throughout F2, so being able to continue to fight it out during Formula 1 is going to lead to some really exciting moments. And then the other questions there are about him personally, so nothing really towards us at all, although there's a bit of respect there from both the drivers towards me over my previous performances. The contract then, obviously we've got I think one more race after the next one, then we can go into a new contract renewal as well. Our value there now higher than the overall contract value, which is nice. Research and development, this is going to be the crucial one, 1,764, so we'll have a look at what we can do. The chassis department is still good, but we're now onto a major upgrade which will take 3 weeks. Same for the aerodynamic department and same for the powertrain as well. Now I've got 2 choices to do. Well, I've got 3 choices. Number 1 is just go for it with the major upgrades and, you know, suck it and see, and we'll have to wait 3 weeks. Or we can focus more on the durability side, or we can spend money on either making parts more reliable when they're produced in the factory, leading to a reduction in the chances of them failing, or we can spend money on making parts cheaper overall. But to be honest with you, I'm quite happy with how much things will spend, and if parts fail, then we can always get it done the next week at a much cheaper cost. I want to wait until we get our first contract renewal and then focus entirely on obviously making the major upgrades reduced by a week, and at which point then we will start to crack on with those. So we might as well focus on the durability department. We know that the gearbox needs some work, so we might as well spend a bit of money on that. So the gearbox durability number 2, all gearbox components will wear at reduced rate, increasing gearbox durability by a further 22.5%. That will go very nicely indeed. We know the ICE is struggling a little bit, so we might as well put a bit of money on that as well. All ICE components will be slightly more resilient to wear, increasing ICE durability by 30%. That leaves us with 664 resource points, which I'll now save, because if we do well at round 4, which I believe is Baku, we should have enough there to do 1, maybe 2 major upgrades, and if we do get a contract renewal as well, we can reduce the time they're produced, so we might as well crack on with pretty much any department. So we've got a few bits there coming into the durability department, but as for overall performance, nothing will be put on the car. As for vehicle management, the gearbox is the main one, 38%, and we're halfway through that gearbox's life. But of course that will be reduced with the amount of durability work we're doing on the gearbox. So I don't think in the long run we'll be too disappointed with it. I don't think we'll have to change it out before the 6th race. The ICE then up to 37%, 26 for the MGU-K, 33 for the MGU-H, 22, 35 and 24 for the energy store, turbocharger and electronic system respectively. So the ICE then 37% is certainly the highest, but the MGU-H and the turbocharger certainly need some work onto it as well. And the standings there, we're now up into 8th place, as you can see, tied on points with the Force India of Sergio Perez, and 6th place for the Alfa Romeo racing team as well is very, very nice after 3 races. So that then is the race all done. No real complaints. We made one little mistake early on in the race which cost us a few seconds and a couple of positions, but the strategy worked out absolutely perfect for us. We put a couple of good moves on after we made our pit stop as well, consistently pulled away from Grosjean. He then retired, and at that point I knew I was safe for 5th place. Slightly surprising to finish that high up, but as I said before, and I'll say it again, the one-stop strategy at most circuits is a very, very powerful, and we made it work perfectly with our strategy. So overall, very, very happy. We've had a good strong start to the season after the blip of Australia, 2 very strong races at Bahrain and China. Baku, I believe, is next, unless I'm completely wrong. It is indeed, so I might struggle there. Then we have Spain, which I should be good at, Monaco, which will be a struggle, and then we can carry on going into the second half of the season as well. But for now, thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you all for the next one very soon.